All right, well, here we are. We're underway. So this is the start of our trip on our way to Almer Island. It's me and dog. All right, the wind's still light, but it's picked up a little bit, and we're going about 2.6 knots. We've got a nautical mile and a half, so should be to our island in just over an hour. I don't know if you can see it, it's way up there. We're sailing right on it, which is nice. Day one of our micro-cruising trip on the Ottawa River. A little anchor, thrown into some rocks. And there's the boat. We're beached. You can see the tall buildings in the distance. That's where we came from today. Light wind. Kind of would like to have the boat secured a bit better, but there isn't much to work with. You know what? I thought about bringing a spare anchor, and I should have. At any rate, it's pulled right up on the sand there. The only problem is if the water level changes in the night, then, well, we still have the anchor. We're not going anywhere with that. Just those rocks there is what's concerned me if we somehow drift upriver. But that is upriver. The current goes that way, and then there's rocks here, but I think we're safe from them. It's just those guys there. Maybe if I change the angle of the anchor, pull it up into these roots here. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Okay, there we are. Day one, micro cruising. Mistral 16. 16-foot boat. Got a stake going in the cockpit on the Trangia mini pan stake. I forgot to bring utensils, so I have 2 knives for utensils. That's okay. I'll get by. All right, well, it's morning time. I was actually pretty comfortable last night, and this morning even drinking my coffee. So there's the moon, and there's the sunrise over Ottawa. I wish it was warmer, because I'm gonna have to get in the water in my dry suit to push this boat off. I really have no choice. Well, all right, get my dry suit on. All right, I made it away from the beach. I'm not gonna say it was easy, but it wasn't that bad. And sailing, that's the direction we're going. Doggo's concerned. it's gotten kind of sporty out. Good sailing. I'm almost to my island. I'm about about half a mile away. So that's good because getting some pretty good sized white caps and that sort of thing, and the boat's rocking and rolling, and I don't have much sail up, so it's not heeling over, but it is getting sporty. So I've come 17 miles today up from Ottawa River. It's a lot of fun. I'm having a good time. So at any rate, yeah, this island should have a little protected lagoon to anchor in. And that's good because we wouldn't want to be anchored where we were last night because it didn't have any protection. But this has a protected bay to anchor in. Getting steak again for dinner tonight. And it's only like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, but I've been sailing since, well, I started getting the boat ready at 5:30 just before sunrise. So it's been on the water for 7 or 8 hours, I guess. Whoa. Better pay attention to. That's my island there, completely flooded. There's no dry land on it at all. So I got to go find a plan B. There's a little town up ahead that has a public marina, and that's what I'm going to try for, I guess. But the currents ahead get really strong. I'm going to be sailing up white water here, so I'll just have to see how that goes, I guess. I don't know what else to do. Dog needs dry land. Well, still trying to reach Keon. Motoring upriver now on the Torquedo against a pretty good current. As you can see, the trees are flooded on shore, and it's raining. Although it's not too cold. I'm actually warmer now than I was when I was out on the lake sailing, because there's not really any wind in here, and it's warmed up. But it'll be nice to get to Keon, find out where I can spend the night, and set up some kind of a boom tent or a tarp over my cockpit, so I don't turn into a duck. Well, this isn't exactly what I had in mind. I guess I'm kind of semi-beach, semi-anchored at the Keon Fairgrounds. I couldn't get into the beach because there's power lines. The power lines are flooded. I came across this road, and at any rate, there she is. Time to find my boom tent and get that up, because I'm wet. All right, here we are. The rain's just started. I repositioned. Oh, looks like I cut my head when I bumped it. I repositioned because the water level was going down. They've maybe changed the settings at the dam just upstream from here. I didn't want to be stuck in a parking lot, so I repositioned these floating docks that aren't attached to shore. I assume they're anchored and they wait till springtime to put them in. So at any rate, I'm making coffee on the trangia on this floating dock, and not quite sure what I'll do. I might head up to Fitzroy Provincial Park and anchor off the beach there, or I might check out Fitzroy Harbor. I don't have a lot of battery on. I mean, I do. I've got over 70% on the Torquedo, but I'm also 30 miles back to my car, which is, you know, it's a distance. All right, I gotta find the coffee. All right, now I'm sitting on under my tarp out of the rain. I got a freshly brewed Starbucks instant coffee, and I got a steak on the Trangia out on the dock behind me. And now that I've got a steak and I'm out of the rain, a steak and a coffee, I'll be better able to formulate a plan, figure out where to go from here, or just stay here is also an option. You know, it's not the worst place. There's a chip truck. It's supposed to be really nasty weather today. Winds gusting to 40 kilometers an hour with rain. We had thunderstorms all night, so staying put might be a good option. Okay. I had to put the simmer ring on the Trangia. The steak was burning. Worst problems to have, that's for sure. So here's what I'm thinking for beating that current. So we're in Keon. The hydroelectric dam is there. The waterfalls are there. So there's water, a lot of current coming down here and right where we are mid-current. My thinking is if I hug close to this shoreline, and that's the inside of the corner, shallower water, and hopefully out of the worst of the current. And so if I can stay out of that strong current that's coming straight down there from the hydroelectric dam and waterfalls, then maybe I can sneak into my spot, and there should be no current once I'm past the dam. Well, this isn't really working out. There's just too much current, too little wind, and you know, the Torqeedo's easily got the power, but I still have a 30-mile return trip to make, so I don't want to use up all my power. So what I'm kind of thinking is I'll keep trying until my Torqeedo battery drops to 60%, and then I'll call it if there's still no wind. And then that leaves me, I mean, if I use 40% to get up here against the current, and I leave 60% to get back down with the current, that should be fine. We'll see how it goes. Oh, there we are. I'm anchored. Wasn't going anywhere. There's no wind. Lots of current. So I'm anchored by this flooded forest, and I'll stay here for an hour, 2 hours, whatever, see if the wind picks up. If it does, I'll keep going. If not, I'll return to Keon. Kind of relaxing. Yeah, but while I'm here, I'd show my anchor trip line. So this is a trick I learned this is my second boat I've owned that has really no usable foredeck and a small cabin, so you can't get up to anchor. Right, there's the foredeck. There's not much going on. Like the sail's in the way, and you know, there's no lifelines, and you got to climb over. So I use an anchor trip line or retrieval line. So basically my anchor is tied off to the D-ring in the bow, and then I just have this guy tied off to my handrail, and I use this to pull the anchor rod back to me, and I'll take it out and coil it right there or at my feet there, and that's where my anchor goes. So that's anchor trip line for a boat where you can't access the bow. I guess trip line's not really the right word, it's more of a retrieval line. see if I can, I don't have enough hands here to... Okay, there we go. Yeah, it's pulling me forward towards the anchor. Oh, there you can see the anchor being pulled there. I'm not leaving right yet, so I thought I'd show it off. Well, good afternoon. I thought I'd do my day 3 summary. Day 3, cruising up the Ottawa River in Mistral 16. So last night was thunderstorms, all night, thunder and lightning and rain. The boat didn't move around at all because I had my anchor out. But then what I also did is I went into shallow water with the keel up, and then I lowered the keel into the mud. So I had both the anchor and then the keel in the mud to hold me in place. I didn't move around at all. But you know, the lightning's always interesting when you're on a 16-foot boat. There was some wind, but today's plan was to reach my final destination, which is Chats Falls, which is a waterfall on the Ottawa River. And then there's a hydroelectric dam there as well. I started my way up the last 4 or 5 miles to Chats Falls, but there's no wind, and the river current's really strong. I'm anchored out of the current, kind of behind a point, but it's still half a knot here behind this point. So I'm not motoring into the main current. So at any rate, I've decided to spend the day at anchor and then figure out what's next. I don't know if you can see it behind me, but there's a flooded forest, there's a beaver dam down there, and there's all kinds of creatures doing their things in the flooded forest, birds and beavers. So we're just kind of watching that happen at anchor. It's a really nice day at anchor. There's doggo. Oh, right. So I've been navigating with Navionics on my cell phone, and Navionics cell phone got a soaker in the thunderstorm last night, and it's not charging. So I've been navigating with the paper charts instead. Now I do also have my battery operated Garmin GPS, but it doesn't have charts. It only has a world base map. So I've been using the I've been using the GPS along with the paper charts. Now I do have a hand bearing compass on board in a toolkit, but it's not needed when you have the GPS, you have the chart, and then you also have so many visible references. Like that point right there is Woodbridge Point. Okay, so you can just navigate from landmark to landmark in a river like this. You could really do it with no GPS or compass, but I've got Navionics on the cell phone, Garmin with world base map, the nautical charts, and somewhere I've got a compass. Well, I know where it is. So at any rate, that's my summary of day 3 solo cruise, well, solo with my dog, up the Ottawa River from Ottawa to Chats Falls. I'm not sure if I'm going to make it to Chats Falls, but I'm only a few miles away, so maybe the wind will fill in and I'll be able to get up there. And if I can't, then that's okay. There's just so much current. It's a waterfall, and this is a small sailboat, and that's not what they're not designed to sail up into waterfalls. So you need good wind to do it. And it's got to be from the right direction. Okay, that's my day 4 summary, day 3 summary. Thanks, bye. Well, the wind has come up fairly strong, and it's in the wrong direction for me to sail to Chats Falls. I would be beating, which is fine. I don't mind beating upwind, but against strong river current, it would be difficult. So at this point, I think I've decided that I'm going to return to Keon and use the floating docks there to spend the night. It's turned cold and overcast as well, so well, I don't think I want to waste too much time. I want to get the boom tent up because I don't want another soaker. That's the direction I need to go. So it's straight upwind, straight into the current. I don't think it's going to happen. Well, today I discovered something really cool. I saw this dock and I thought it looked like a good place to stop for the dog to have a break. And they let me use their dock, and then I found out that it's a boat-in chip truck. So they let me use their dock, so I got to get something to eat. I ordered a small poutine. April, and it's already open. Very cool. A rocky dock. Speaking to the gentleman, it's apparently his chip truck. So if you're down this way, stop in at the rocky dock. And there it is, the rocky dock poutine. Looks pretty good. Well, this is day 4. I'm beating upwind. The wind has been consistently inconsistent. There's been really strong gusts, and then I've been becalmed, and everything in between. One thing that's been consistent is it's been on my beak. So I've got about 5 miles to my destination left, 5, 6, but it's dead upwind. Still though, it's nice sailing. Aside from the wind being frustrating. Okay, that's it. That's my cruise up the Ottawa River, starting in Ottawa and going to about Fitzroy Beach area, and I sailed about 60 nautical miles in total. That's sailed and motored. Most of it was sailing. I used the Torpedo. It worked great. I love having that power on hand. Just twist the throttle and you've got power if you're in a tricky spot and your tacks aren't working out because there's trees or a narrow channel or something. You can just have the power and then not have it. The boat sailed really well. I brought too much stuff. Just the cabin was cramped with stuff like folding wagon and just too much food and that sort of thing. So that's something I'll be cognizant of the next time. But all in all, it was a great cruise. The weather was cold, but I mean, I was dressed for it. I was wearing a dry suit. I was wearing polar fleece underneath that, and I was wearing gloves, and I was wearing a toque, and I was dressed for the weather. And then inside the cabin here, it's a really warm cabin, with me and a dog, because it's a small space. It heats up easily. It's well sealed against the wind, and I was using a -15 North Face sleeping bag, so I was comfortable. My alcohol stove, the Trangia Mini, worked well. It cooked all my meals and made lots of coffee. Even underway, I made coffee, and I had a steak every night on the stove. My plan had been to spend more time camping on islands and having campfires and that sort of thing, but the reality is the islands were all flooded, so I had to be flexible and make other plans. So what I ended up doing is I did what I could, and I stayed on the boat and stayed kind of wading distance from shore so the dog could get ashore to do little walks and that sort of thing, because I had to accommodate him. So I think later in the season, when the river's not in flood, I'll come back and visit some more of those places that I wanted to visit, but couldn't get to because of the flood levels. All right, great. That's it. That's my cruise on my micro cruiser, Mistral 16. Thanks. Goodbye.